wider and wider, and so far I think we're definitely seeing that today. So let's see what we have here on the table. It is another elimination round. We're here in the lower bracket. Loser of this one unfortunately knocked out of the tournament. That is not a place you want to be if you're hoping to make it into the top four for the European region. It's full Smart kicking off here on the Grand Arena against YOLO Inc. Game number 1, best of 5, Ben.
I'm interested because for Gelu, apparently he does play Warlock for this team as well. So, yeah, the Affliction Warlock, he really is just a one-trick. Looking at this team card, he's just going to be playing Affliction Warlock. Gelu might come in and play Destro for the roster, might play Demo, but looks like they are just going to be going with their main composition to start things off. And of course, for Tony, he will be on the Rep Paladin, Casu on the Hunter, Kenkito on the Prez Evoker. And both these compositions are very interesting, and I feel like this is going to be a really quick game. And it is going to be actually a Void Weaver Discipline Priest as well, which is quite a popular pick right now.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen it a little bit as well from Cats and Dogs over in North America, but Langner already taking a little bit of damage here. And I think for the Affliction Warlock, if he gets left open like this, he is going to be doing so much damage. We can definitely expect him to kind of climb that DPS meter chart. Yeah, there it is. Going to be climbing up all the way to the top. They're all just rotting down. Look at the damage, the ultimate penitence as well. Oh my goodness, the turtle comes out from Casu. Tony already having to use his Divine Shield. So much pressure in this opener. We're not even a minute in, and that Assassination Rogue as well. Once those kidneys lands on the Kenkito, there is not much he's going to be able to do. He's got no rewind as well.
And for Mazikeen, it's all about lining that Mind Blast. So here's the Mind Blast. If he can actually cast Void Blast during this time, Igor should be able to survive. He gets interrupted. Nice kick there. Nice Quell coming in from Kenkito, and very important to get crowd control on the Discipline Priest during these Mind Blast moments. If he's able to free cast, it's basically impossible to damage to the healing. At the same time, though, Tony is getting low on health once again. Kenkito is really struggling. Goes for the rescue. He's got the Emerald Communion. Is he going to make the trade? The Garrote Silences are coming in. A full kidney shot lands. That's going to be the Smoke Bomb. The Emerald Communion, and now Langnar is in trouble. This is such a fast-paced game. Tony could fall, and it looks like he will somehow, some way manages to survive, but Kenkito is just struggling under the pressure of the Assassination Rogue and the Affliction Warlock. The damage is completely overwhelming. Kenkito runs away. Kasu's getting low. Garrote Silence once again. Kenkito will get dropped. I can't believe it. What a great play from YOLO Inc. And I feel like Chat and Supertees knew something we didn't. This is an amazing first game from this team.
Jeez. Those haunts are just insane. Anytime that haunt got casted, somebody just got instantly dropped. And I really like what Nask was doing in that game towards the end there. Getting the Garrote out, getting the second Garrote out. You can just do so much when they're all stacked up like this. And the same thing happens, a little bit later on. He shadow steps over to Kenkito, almost drops him here immediately. Map to work with, but still, the Dragon does have Cauterizing Flame to remove bleeds. But at the same time, the Dragon does have to play kind of mid-range, close range to actually be effective. So it is just kind of how it plays out as well for Kenkito. But he's going to get sapped. Garrote comes out onto Casu. Nice scatter shot onto Nask, kind of denying that early stun. Mazikeen gets stunned into a freezing trap. They're going to go after Nask here, actually getting a stun there onto him. But look at Casu just rotting down instantaneously. Kenkito not really able to leave crowd control there in that beginning stage, sitting through that blind. And Assassination Rogue just getting a lot of work done here on the Kenkito. Emerald Communion being traded out, but here comes YOLO Inc.
So they can do Ultimate Penitence, going to be traded out by Mazikeen immediately, just keeping up the damage rolling. Really wants to just keep them on the back foot. Magmar is getting a little bit low, gets gripped back to safety. An opportunity for Mind Blast to come in. Here comes the Mind Blast. Here comes the potential Void Blast. Ask, can he survive? One Void Blast comes in. Triple stun here by Kenkito, but he's getting pressured heavily in this matchup. The full kidney shot lands, and that could potentially be the end of the game. It's going to be a Trinket rewind, but he is just dying through it. Finally gets topped off, but no Communion, no Trinket, no rewind. I am afraid for Kenkito. I feel like it's going to be lights out on this Prez Evoker really soon in this match.
He pre-Obsidian scaled that stun, and that's why he was kind of sitting through the stun for a little bit to see if it was going to be enough, but even that wasn't enough. And Obsidian scale is basically like a bark skin for Prez Evoker. But anyway, we see some damage coming out here onto Langner, and Kenkito gets feared. Oh, this could be it. Nice peels from Tony. Nasty trinkets out though. Here comes the gouge stun to follow up the kidney, but Tony saving the day there. Beautiful peels coming out from Tony. Stunning Nask on his kill and getting that Cyclone there is the only reason why Kankito is still alive, but it's still going to be very, very scary times ahead. Anytime Langner can connect with that taunt, or even on this next kidney shot, Kankito could just drop right now. Nask is making his way over there. He gets the bleeds rolling. He's got two of them. Kankito hiding, manages to stop himself before that stun. Nice Cyclones here onto Nask. Tony doing a great job on the Feral.
Casu as well, I want to highlight it. I mean, Lagmore traded out his unending resolve, but this might be the game once again. Kankito does manage to survive, but Lagmore traded out his unending resolve offensively to avoid the interrupts, and Casu had a really good scatter shot. But look at the pressure now. YOLO Inc. is having a really difficult time actually surviving. The fear's coming in, but Mazikeen, he needs to get some cast off. Here comes the Void Blast, and he likely will top off the team. But that was great pressure incoming. Tone is getting a little bit low. He's just throwing Cyclones onto Lagnor. And Mazikeen, when he can free cast, like I said, no one's going to go down. But if he gets caught in crowd control, he gets interrupted. That's where the game unravels really quickly for YOLO Inc. Now the setup here onto Kankito, pre-Obsidian Scales. But once again, just kind of dying through it. Tony rotting down at the same time. This is a lot of pressure, but Tony fakes the interrupt, lands the Cyclone, and continue the push. Full Smart isn't out of it yet.
Yeah, and they're going for the kill right now. Full Cyclone onto Mazikeen, no way out. Nice grip coming in there onto Casu to get him back on his target. Casu has got the True Shot active right now, and he's going to be zapping away here. Big aim shots coming in, and they take him down. The Pain Suppression blocks the kill. Void Blast coming in now, and now it is going to be Full Smart here. We have to play a little bit defensive. Full Kidney Shot comes in. Nice Cyclone there, and Kankito still has to trinket out in this exchange. And Kankito is running dry on mana here. So they don't have too much time left in this game. They need to try to close it out right now. The next trap could be the one that secures it here for Full Smart. But at the same time, Kankito is running down behind the pillar. Here comes the setup. Can they get the trap? They get it. Can they take down this Warlock right now? They need to make it happen. But no, they're not going to be able to. Not enough crowd control there onto Mazikeen. And he's going to be able to come out now. And Kankito, he might just die in this kidney shot right here. So much damage coming out. Emerald Communion trades, though, and saves the day.
Yeah, Kankito getting really low on health, managing to top off, but these setups have been so consistently scary so far in the match. 16% dampening, healers both not doing too well in terms of their cooldowns. A Full Cyclone lands here onto Mazikeen, dismantle onto Casu. He's just getting completely destroyed for the time being. See what they can do. Lagnor has his unending resolve, trade it back. Might need to trade it out here. He gets silenced up into a Cyclone. They're doing a really good job denying the healing from Mazikeen as he falls further and further behind. I love these Cyclones for Tony in this match, but inevitably the heals will land. Kankito does get stunned into a Garrote. This could be the end of the match, but he's doing a really good job of his positioning, out of line of sight, and Kankito has done a great job so far to keep himself alive.
Look at Kankito's healing, actually. 720 million healing in just 4 minutes, but he's still rotting down behind the pillar. Big Spirit Bloom connects. They need to try to find something here. He's actually going offensive. Fire Breath disintegrates. There's the Cyclone. Beautiful fake cast there by Kankito. Gets himself a nice little precognition there, but now he's going to get stunned. How he's going to deal with this? Nask gets Scatter Shot into a Cyclone. Nice synergy here from Casu and Tony once again. If Kankito got Kidney Shot right there, that could have just been lights out. Casu even landing a counter shot here onto Mazikeen. They're trying to take down Lagnor. Big damage coming in. He grips him into the barrier. He's got unending resolve as well. Smoke bomb onto Casu. Big switch. Ulti Petty in the sky, raining down holy bolts. But is it going to be enough? It looks like Casu will be able to survive. Full trap connects. Lagnor in big trouble here. Dark Pact is active. The shield is going to subside. They get a full Cyclone. Lagnor, what are you going to do? He tries to kite away, but I don't think he's going to have enough. Kill shot comes through, and Full Smart ties up the series. But I mean, they played amazing, but that still looked way too close for comfort.
Yeah, I mean, it was close call after close call. I feel like Kankito, for me, I mean, both Casu and Tony had amazing peels during those moments, but I think Kankito did such a good job navigating this situation where it was obvious he was the target. So he did a really good job kind of weaving in when he needed to heal, but then also just playing at the pillar, making it really difficult for Lagnor to actually connect and get that damage off. So another thing I liked about this game was Tony was landing those offensive Cyclones onto the Warlock. Whenever Mazikeen could actually free cast, it looks like they're going to try to play it out. We'll see what ends up happening here. I mean, Kankito has absolutely no mana whatsoever, so there is a possibility here, however unlikely. It looks like Mazikeen will trinket out. They really want to win. I mean, if they could pull off this 2v3, that would be an absolute miracle. There are some cooldowns rotating back up. Kankito doesn't have a trinket, but of course, he does have that Emerald Communion coming up in about 6 seconds, and once that's up, I'm not going to be afraid for Full Smart whatsoever in the match. He's going to be able to regen mana. He's going to be able to survive his stuns. But YOLO Inc., they want to continue to play it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a close situation. They could definitely still drop somebody with the healer having 0 mana, but it's not going to happen. Casu comes in. Incarnation from Tony just says, no way.
Beautiful game. And looks like it will get tied up. All it came down to was Tony coming back on the Feral. So Tony on that Feral Druid, he's been a legend for a long time. His jungle cleave, once again, looking good. Both offensively and defensively, kind of controlling the game with those Feral Druid Cyclones.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell he's just way more comfortable. You know, in the last game...
I feel like the games so far have really delivered. Lots of different compositions, lots of different classes, new players coming into the scene. It's been a great start to the AWC. Big setup here on the Mazikeen, though. They're playing really aggressive. I like this. Go after the Priest. Really catch him off guard. It's an all-in setup. And they managed to pull out some big cooldowns. It's going to be the Pain Suppression as well as the Trinket. Great setup. At the same time, Kankito is low on health. Has to trade out his Emerald Communion and his Stasis there. So big cooldowns traded for both of these healers.
Yeah, I really, really like that. Going after the Priest here, not going to allow him to cast just as much. And Keto, though, is rotting down big time right now. Does have the Trinket. There's a coil setup coming out, and they get something going. It doesn't look like it. Only once again being a nuisance here on that Feral Druid, landing the Cyclone onto the Warlock, now landing it back onto the Rogue. Now they're going to go after Langner here. They could CC Mazikeen since he's got no Trinket from that opener. Double Fear coming out here onto Tony, and Keto is isolated, has to Trinket and press that rewind. Big cooldown, but here comes a full trap on the Mazikeen. No, it breaks from something there. Unfortunately, for the side of full smart, they kind of get away scot-free here, trading out just Dark Pack there onto the Warlock. It's gonna make sure to just keep looking for these haunts. If they can get a haunt on the Kankito in a stun, and he doesn't pre-obsidian scale it, I think it's gonna be lights out, but they force the unending resolve here, and then they Cyclone Langner on it. He trinkets away as well, but here comes the kill setup potentially, and they get it. Torok gets instantly interrupted. Full Fear comes out, but look at Langner taking so much damage. Ulti Penny, and that is going to be it with the coil. Close it out. What an aggressive game.
I mean, what's so interesting about, we're going to see it in the final moments, Langor actually got peeled here. He wasn't able to connect the Haunt. He wasn't able to connect the Soul Rod, and they still just killed Kankito. So, I mean, that's the power of the stuns as
side
well.
Here. And, I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, look, Langner, he's so low as well. He's kicked, hasn't connected anything. He really hasn't been casting anything. Meanwhile, the Rogue, though, doing tons of damage. But yeah, we'll see here. Match point. Loser gets knocked out. YOLO Inc. versus Full Smart here. And we are on the map choice here of Full Smart, so they're at least going to have a little bit more room to work with. Opener onto Mazikeen once again, maybe coming out. Let's see what they can do. Casu actually gets shut down immediately. I really like this. Make sure that Casu can't get off that true shot and start blasting away right away during that first stun. And instead, he's going to pop it now and not really get too much value off it. And instead, it's going to be Full Smart here on the back foot potentially.
Kankito on the run immediately, just throwing in so many heals on himself, realizing he is the target of choice. He's going to get that massive Dream Breath out, create a lot of space, make it really difficult for Nas to actually connect. He gets the full blind, though. They're doing a big setup here on Tony. Cheap Shot comes in. That's going to be the Smoke Bomb. Can they get the Trinket? Kankito is there to save the day, so they kind of force the issue. I really like that they did that. Kankito was playing so defensive, but now they just make a setup onto the healer. Kankito, if he has to Trinket, it's going to be an absolute nightmare, but Tony is super vulnerable for a swap. This is a really good play here from YOLO Inc.
Yeah, nice gouge there on the Casu, but Nask gets shut down here for a second with the Cyclone. Nice barrier coming out as well onto Langner. As you can kind of anticipating the next move here, and Void Blast coming out onto Tony. He's rotting down just from the Warlock and the Priest. Nask not able to connect there just yet. Looking for a restart there maybe for a second, but not able to find it. But now making his way over to Kankito. Kankito's seen this movie before. Nice dodge on the Deep Breath, but Tony left behind for a moment. Catches a big heal. Kankito manages to top his entire team here, but the kidney shot is coming. Is Kankito ready for it? He tried to pre-obsidian scales, but not able to kind of bait it out. And now I am very worried here. Kankito, what are you going to do? You're going to have to sit through this kidney shot. They're actually just using it for crowd control. Ulti Penny on Tony. Big damage coming out from Mazikeen. Tony lines of sights it. Nice fake cast there as well to get the precognition by Tony. And he's going to be able to shut down the Warlock there for a second.
I mean, this is looking devastating right now for the side of Full Smart. They're all kind of grouped up. They're all bled up. Casu gets caught into a stun. Langnorth is there for potential full fear. Kankito manages to avoid it, but the fear lands. Here comes the cheap shots. All three members are going to rot down, but at the same time, Casu and Tony, they have a lot of pressure. Mazikeen has to get up this Void Blast to top his team off. It looks like he's going to be able to, but he gets caught into a stun. Can they drop him? The Priest is super tanky. He's got the Hellstone. Will manage to use the Hellstone to survive. Here comes the Power Infusion. Both these teams, this is potentially the end of the game. Nask is incredibly low on health. Trades out the evasion to stay in the fight. Tony cyclones it up. Great plays by both teams.
Yeah, really good recovery here coming out from both sides. Only though, gets caught up in a cheap shot in human form. Kankito in a Garrote silence. Could get followed up. There's the cheap shot. Tony's in a fear. Big damage. Haunt connects. Is going to be Kankito immediately popping that Emerald Communion. Actually getting blasted through it. It's so scary when Kankito is locked down and they get a Void Blast plus a Haunt. It just lights out immediately. But here comes the counter pressure. Fire Breath fully loaded up. Going after Nask actually. It looked like they landed on a power trap. Insane setup coming out. And they are just able to close it out instantly. And that's the thing, when you're playing against Full Smart, you're playing their jungle, they can go after the Warlock, they can go after the Priest, and based on what cooldowns the enemy team is using, they will adapt and just do a big switch like that and just completely catch you off guard. Rogue no trinket, Priest no trinket, boom, insta dead. I think that
I've asked for a better opening here.
We'll see. We'll see. If he can get some big Mind Blasts this game, we'll forgive him for his transmog choices. All right, game number 5. Loser eliminated. Winner stays alive in the tournament. Let's see. Big opener onto Mazikeen once again. Nice pain suppression force, but no trinket from Mazikeen, which is what they kind of wanted. Nask gets caught up in a stun as well. Full trap onto Mazikeen. That is a long trap. Okay, that was an oppressive roar trap for sure. Huge opener coming out here from Full Smart. Can they take it? No, they get double feared immediately. Kankito coming in with the deep breath. He gets caught up in a kidney shot. Oh my goodness. 3 obsidian skills though, and a 3 revitalizing flame. Is that going to be enough? Looks like it will be. Kankito will stay alive without using trinket or communion. Love that oppressive roar.
Yeah, I mean, this is an amazing start here for the side of Full Smart, but YOLO Inc., they did a good job getting the counter pressure onto Kankito, really punishing him. The Haunt connects. Kankito's in trouble. He's behind the pillar. He's just rotting down. And they get there to do more damage. At the same time, though, Mazikeen is into a scatter, a full stun on Nask. This could be the end of the game, but there's a Sleepwalk. It's going to be GG. Sleepwalk gets cast out. Mazikeen managed to avoid it. Gets the Void Shift here at the same time now. Casu, Tony, and Kankito are rotting down. What are they going to do? A Fear lands here onto Kankito. Kidney shot as well, so let's see what they can do. It looks like they will stabilize, but the cooldowns are so slim here on YOLO Inc. If Full Smart can just last a little bit longer, this next setup on a Nask could be lethal.
Yeah, can they do it though? Let's see. We're looking for the freezing trap right now onto Mazikeen, but he's kind of dancing around the pillar. But there's the stun. Casu gets the full trap. There's the stun onto Nask as well. This could be it. Shadow Step comes over. He gets the disarm, but is it going to be enough? They overlapped it a little bit there with Cyclone. Pain suppression from Mazikeen, but no Void Shift. Still a lot of damage here, but Casu is getting peeled up. Not able to connect too much. Kidney shot defensively kind of onto Kankito. They get a full fear, but it doesn't look like they can do too much with it. They still get the Emerald Communion there actually from the Wrath onto Casu. And the entire team of Full Smart has stabilized. Mazikeen, though, has his trinket back up, but he still doesn't have any big cooldown to combo it with. This is going to end anytime right now. Big damage onto Nask. Can they take him down? No heals available. Mazikeen trinkets out. Gets stunned on his trinket for a moment there, but Nask manages to stay alive once again. Behind the pillar, rotting down during that cyclone. And Kankito comes in, finishes the job. Full Smart takes the swing match in game number 5 and take the series.
I mean, amazing. Full Smart. This is, first of all, YOLO Inc., incredible series from them. Full Smart as well, just looking really good. I mean, the beginning, first game with Tony on the Retribution Paladin didn't look so good, but when they log on this jungle cleave, I mean, this is just incredible. And it felt like they were getting more and more comfortable with the match. Just really aggressive openers here on the Mazikeen at the start, getting pain suppression out of the way, then just swapping off him, just immediately putting him into a trap, putting him into a sleepwalk, going after Nask. And I think the biggest adaptations of this game was just don't go after the Warlock. The Rogue and the Priest, that's the target in this matchup. Just put silence on the Warlock, put sleepwalks on the Warlock, just crowd control him as much as possible. The Rogue seemed way more vulnerable, and as soon as they put pressure on the Rogue, it just seemed way more difficult for him to get things going for his team.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing, right? The Assassination Rogue, if you're leaving them open and they can just kind of get triple empowered Garrotes all the time, they can get triple bleeds, they can kidney shot your healer on CD, they're going to take over the game instantly. You're not going to be able to play, but if you're actually punishing them, so they can't use Trinket during their offensive goes. They kind of have to run a lot of the time. You're definitely limiting a lot of their damage. And the Warlock, all you have to worry about is really the Haunts. As long as the Warlock doesn't really get to cast Haunt and Soul Rock during the setup, it doesn't really matter that he's going to have full dots up, because your dragon is also going to have full hots up. He's going to be able to deal with a lot of it. You know, he's got Dream Breath. He's got a lot of, healing throughput. So he can definitely keep the team alive throughout the Warlock damage. It's the Rogue damage plus that Empowered Shiv that makes things really, really tricky to deal with. And towards the end here, I love what they did as well here. Like, look at this. Castle leaps in on one side, and Kankiro.
Solid series so far. I mean, what have you thinking about kind of what we've seen so far here, Ven, in Cup number 3 for the War Within?
Love it. Love everything about it. Lots of different compositions, lots of different classes. Both of these series have been incredibly close, with teams just making minor adjustments to pull out ahead. But now we get to see, you know, the big boys, the Echo, Bob, Streamer Zone versus Under Pressure. It's kind of the matchups I've been waiting for. As much as the lower bracket has delivered, and they've been amazing games, I'm kind of just, at the beginning of the season, it's always nice to see